So, last Tuesday, I was meeting up with a friend of mine at his house. I drove over there, and then the plan was that we were going to drive together and go get something to eat. So I pull up at my friend Andy's house, and I walk up to the front door. I knock, and after a few seconds, he comes to the door and opens it. I asked him how his day was, and he asked about mine. After a second or two, he invited me inside. I stepped in and said hello to his dog. Told him he was a good boy and gave him a couple pats on the head. After about 10 minutes of small talk, we were ready to go. I know this because I asked Andy if he was ready to go. Hey, Andy, you ready to go? Yeah, I'm ready. 1 second. He walked into the other room, and I heard his footsteps take him down onto the landing near his back door. That was odd. Why would he be going to the back door? I've been standing right next to the front door, and I even parked my car right in front of his house. And well, when I heard him starting towards the back door, it made me feel kind of angry. Yeah, I was upset. Why would he treat me like this in his own home? I thought for a second, well, maybe he's just letting his dog out before we go. That's no biggie. No big deal. No prob, Bob. But then I saw his dog emerge from the back of the house, from his bedroom. Now, if his dog was on the other side of the house, why would my friend Andy be at his back door? After a few seconds, he returned, fastening what I first presumed to be a winter coat around his torso. It was springtime, and Andy had no reason to be wearing a coat, or even a jacket. A windbreaker would have even been inappropriate. I was about to say something when I realized he was smiling. A smirk plastered across his face, ear to ear. Well? He asked, raising his arms out at his sides. What do you think of my new cloak? If you thought I was angry before, you can't even begin to imagine the fury that filled my very being as he spoke those words out into the air. Andy, what did you just ask me? I said, staring down to the ground at his feet. I asked if you liked my new cloak. Well, do you? And then he twirled with the inquiry. God! Why would he do that? Ugh! I jumped towards him and he jumped back. What are you, Andy? What are you? Why do you have a cloak? What are you, some kind of nerd? Some kind of geek? What are you, a weeb? A weeaboo? Andy, are you retarded? Answer me! And I grabbed that cloak right off his body, pulled his arms out of the sleeves, the hood from his head, and unfastened the front, all with one swift motion. Andy, what is this? I shouted, holding the crumpled cloak mere inches from his face. I was shaking. He looked like he was about to cry. What, are you gonna cry, Andy? Why are you crying? A tear rolled down his right cheek. His gaze shifted to the floor. I don't... Can we just go get some lunch? I don't know why. And I cut him off. I held my hand up over his lips, and I whispered, just stop, Andy. Just stop it. I flung the cloak around my body, sliding my right arm into its respective sleeve, and then the left. I fastened the single buckle at the front of the chest and raised the hood over my head. The cloak covered me. We stood there in silence for what could have very easily been 30 years, or only 30 seconds. Andy, what is this? I raised my right hand to his face again. I felt my suppressed energy surge up through my veins, into my arm, and into my hand. With a bright, brief flash of spectral fire, I burned Andy's face off. He stood for a second longer, looked back from the floor to my face, and met my eyes. "I'm sorry," he said, but it was too late. He was dead before he hit the floor. I took off the hood, unfastened the front buckle, and slipped my arms back out through the sleeves of the cloak. I crumpled it in my hand again and stretched my arm forward to drop the cloak on Andy's corpse, but something stayed me. I unraveled the cloak once again. I held it out in front of me and I studied it. I flung it around once more and put it on, fastening the buckle, raising the hood. This cloak is actually kind of cool. Can I have it? Andy said nothing. "Do you want this cloak back, Andy?" He didn't respond. I gave his dog a treat, a pat on the head,